When you're young, when you're restless, when you're fun, cause you're desperate. Oh, here they come for a chance, for adventure. What's your poison? What's your pleasure? Oh, my city, she never sleeps. My city, she never weeps. My city, she keeps me alive. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, oh, oh. Give it my city, my city. My city, my city. Where do you go when your heart's with a fever? When she's cruel, but you won't leave her. Oh, here we are, all the freaks and believers, all the sweet neon dreamers. Oh, my city. My city, she never sleeps. My city, she never weeps. My city, she keeps me alive. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, oh, oh. Give it my city, my city. My city, my city. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, my city, my city. Give it up for my city, running wild and looking pretty, oh, oh. Give it up for my city, my city, my city.
What's the story, Raw fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story are
Seth Rollins' Super Showdown opponent has been announced.
the race for the 24/7 championship continues.
And let's have a Brock party.
All that and more coming up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view.
Boy, oh boy.
Tonight we're talking about the exciting Raw. Okay, maybe it wasn't so exciting, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
This was a Raw. It was not a very good Raw, but it was Raw nevertheless. So we just got off of having Double or Nothing this weekend, and this Raw was pretty much absolute trash. There were bits and pieces I liked, but it wasn't very good.
Well, as we go through it, we'll talk about it and talk about what we think, of what's happening and some of the things that we don't like and some of the things that we may like. So they started off with a Memorial Day video, kind of your normal holiday type stuff.
Yeah.
Then Kofi opens the show, and basically there's a recap of the Dolph beatdown from last week.
Yeah, that's what the first 7 minutes or 10 minutes of the show was that. So we get the recap, and then he's like, I want Brock, he's going to choose me. He's got to choose me. He's got to choose me. And then Seth comes out. Good old Seth. He comes out and is like, he's going to choose me. Okay? Me. I have fought him before, and I can beat him. And he's going to choose me. And then they're both like, Brock, come out here. This is when the Brock party begins. So Brock's music starts playing, and it's like, his regular music. And then it, like, switches to this, like, groovy, jammy stuff. And I was like, what the heck? What did they do to him? And then he got in the ring and he danced!
Well, if the whole idea is to try and change the perception of Brock Lesnar...
I think they've achieved that.
Well, I'm cool with them doing this. If this is the whole idea behind it, and they're trying to eliminate some of the stigma of him as, just showing up, and he's no fun, he's boring. I think that's probably where they're going with this, is because a lot of people talked about him being boring.
Money in the Bank briefcase looking like a boombox.
Yeah, so I think that part of that is, and I'm cool with this. This is one of the storylines. If this is where they're headed and this is what they're going to do to try and make Brock Lesnar more interesting, then I'm cool with it.
You know what? People are probably going to shoot me for this, but I generally hate Brock Lesnar. I've made that very well known that I very much hate Brock Lesnar. And I'm not going to lie. I'm entertained and I'm okay with this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's
like coming from me, that's a big deal because I hate Brock Lesnar.
Yes, you do.
I hate him.
So I think,
and so like you kind of changed my perception about him.
As long as they keep this path, I don't.
As long as they keep this going. If they go back to the stupid Brock Lesnar, then sorry, pal. I'm done. Not happening, homie. I don't like that Brock Lesnar. This Brock Lesnar I'm okay with.
Well, part of it is I think they're, like I said, they're trying to personalize him and make him more
of a character.
Yeah.
And less of a Brock Lesnar-y guy.
Yeah. So then you have.
Well, he came out and we thought he was gonna announce who he's gonna pick.
Yeah.
And then he didn't because Seth Rollins walked off after Brock danced in his face.
Yeah.
And Seth just got up and left, and Paul Heyman got up on the mic and was like, "What? My client was about to announce who he was gonna choose. Not anymore. Seth ruined our Brock party." And then Brock left, and Kofi was left in the ring. And good old Dolph Ziggler comes out, attacks him from behind again because he had such good luck with this last week. He's going to do it again. But this time, no. Xavier Woods was there to help Kofi out. Then Kofi got taken out of the arena because he was hurt. And Dolph and Woods continued to beat down each other for the next 10 minutes. And then Kofi came back out with a chair and scared Dolph off. If only he had done that 10 minutes sooner, this segment would have been great.
Sorry, I was looking at the computer. My mouse is like flying around the screen, and nobody's touching it. So it's like a ghost was in here or something.
That's funny.
So anyway, I
would
this Dolph Ziggler thing, I would much rather have had them do this with Ali than Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, so the issue I have with this tonight, okay, A, we saw this last week.
We did.
B, I felt like it just dragged on forever. Like the Xavier Woods and Dolph fight could have been over a lot sooner than it was.
Well, this whole concept.
We went through 2 commercial breaks.
Like I said, I don't like this whole concept.
2 commercial breaks of them fighting.
Of Dolph Ziggler going, well, this should have been mine. Well, no, technically, Ali.
He just showed up out of nowhere.
Well, Ali was supposed to be the one, that was in the match.
I understand. I get it. I understand what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler. I understand why they could do Ali too. Ali would make more sense. But I understand what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler because Dolph and Kofi have been in the company the same amount of time. And neither of them have gotten opportunities that they should have gotten.
Okay, but the fact is Dolph Ziggler had nothing to do with anything that's been happening.
He had nothing to do with anything. So Ali would have made more sense.
If they would have done this with Ali, I would think this would be a cool storyline. but obviously they're not using Dolph Ziggler. And maybe they'll change it. Maybe somewhere along the lines, Ali will step in and go, Dolph, sorry, but this was
Actually,
my
you
opportunity.
weren't here. That was mine. I'm the one who got a concussion at Elimination Chamber and couldn't compete anymore,
Yeah,
and then
so
Kofi took my place.
maybe-
And then Kofi went on to win the WWE Championship, which really should have been mine because I would have won the Elimination Chamber. And so, get out of here.
Yeah.
It would make more
I think it'd
sense.
be and I think it'd make a better storyline.
It would make more sense. I'm okay with the Dolph storyline.
So then
'cause
we
it
have
brings Dolph back
the
in, but
Usos block party that they show for whatever reason, with a bunch of people standing out.
block
and-
party, and then I think the 24/7 championship stuff they run through there real quick, and then it's
Yeah, but that was later, wasn't it?
no, but they did like Truth came through, and then the people came chasing after him
Yeah, well,
in
whatever.
the first segment.
So the Usos block party, don't know, have a clue what the point of this was. We still haven't actually had a match. And we're
And this is probably like 30 minutes into the show.
yeah. So then we have the Shane interview, talking about how he's wrestling tonight. He starts to come out with his music, and then turns around and walks back to the back and says, "No, I'm not ready yet."
Then he was cut off by the stupid Triple H and Randy Orton video from last week for their match for Super Showdown,
Yeah.
which recaps their long rivalry over the last 10 years.
Yes.
Like, dude, we've seen it.
Why they showed this, I did not know.
We've seen it.
Again, it's repeating a lot of the same stuff.
We've seen it.
Then finally we get Shane, our first match. Shane versus Lance, and I'm gonna mess this up. Anoa'i.
Anoa'i.
It's Offa's son. I just know the Wild Samoans and things like that. I don't know their last names. And
That's not Offa's son. It's like Offa's son's son.
his grandson.
Yeah, something like
Sorry.
that. It's Roman Reigns' cousin.
Yeah.
One of Roman Reigns' many cousins. So he's fighting. And you got the pleasure of being a jobber on Raw.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Can't believe it.
Shane McMahon beats him up.
Well, actually, Drew McIntyre beats
Drew
him up
McIntyre
first.
beats him up.
Before the match gets started, Shane's like, up. Don't start the match yet, ref. Don't start the match. Don't start it yet. And then Drew attacks him. And then Shane's like, oh, let's get the match started now.
Yeah.
Now that he's down for the count, let's do it.
Yeah. So anyway, they beat up Lance. And then Roman Reigns comes out. He Superman punches.
Well, Shane gets the win first.
Oh yeah, Shane gets the win. I mean,
I
obviously.
feel like that was pretty obvious.
Superman punches Drew McIntyre, and then
Superman punches,
Shane McMahon.
and then he gets left in the ring. 'Cause
Yes.
Shane walks out.
Well, he didn't walk. He got
Actually, he didn't
pulled
walk out.
by
Drew McIntyre pulled him
out. Then we have Brock Lesnar come back out.
I was like, what? And they didn't play his cool music this time.
Heyman says we're back to tell you who Brock will cash in on. Seth comes out, and then Heyman reads the contract
Oh, this segment
and says,
was gold.
"You can hold this for up to a year."
Like, till next Money in the Bank. And then Brock takes the papers, and he smacks Heyman in the face. And he's like, seriously? I didn't know this. What are you even talking about? And then he gets on the mic. Brock gets on the mic for the first time in forever and is like, I don't have to make any decisions right now. Screw you, Seth. I'm getting out of here. And then he leaves.
Kind of a cool segment with Brock Lesnar there. Again,
I thought it was funny. It makes Brock look really dumb, but I thought it was funny.
It does, but I think they're trying to make him seem like human and not, this machine that just rolls everybody and just shows up every, 2 months. So I think that's probably what they're trying to do with
Brock
him.
Lesnar has showed up to work for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yes.
That's world record right there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
So then we go back to the Usos block party.
No, it isn't.
That wasn't on this part?
No.
Oh.
The block party had nothing to do with this.
Oh, my bad.
Truth
Did
and
I step out of the room during this part?
I don't know, but
Because I was so excited?
I guess, but there was another Truth and the People block party later.
Well, I knew there was
This
another one.
was just R-Truth and with Carmella on his back, and they're running through the crowd.
Oh,
and
that's
they come
right.
out,
They came through the ring,
and they
didn't
get
they?
into they go through
Yeah.
the ring, and he had like 2 people try to roll him up, and then Drake Maverick. This legit is the best thing on Twitter right now. The Drake Maverick videos and the R-Truth videos, they are gold.
I did see this. I remember now.
Absolute gold. So Drake Maverick has been like dying to get the 24/7 championship, and he will get the 24/7 championship. And so he's got his flyers that have the truth 24/7. If you've seen him, at me, and so he's got his flyers in his hands, and he gets on the stairs and he like tries to jump off and like land on Truth. The papers go flying and he just lands flat on his face on the mat. It was so funny. And then Truth and Mella, they get out of there. It was really funny.
Yeah. It was cool.
I like these segments.
Cool
They're
segment.
hilarious. Redeeming quality of the show.
Then you have Becky and Nikki Cross versus the IIconics.
This was a redeeming match, too.
Well, isn't it like a replay from last week?
I mean, it is, but it was a
Or
good match.
2 weeks ago? Was it last week?
No, last week was a 6-woman tag match that ended up
Well, basically ended up
being a tag team
yeah.
match. Well, so now my question is, because Becky and Nikki won, are they going to get a shot at the titles?
Who knows?
Because if you
I
beat
mean,
the
this
champs,
is so
that's the way
screwed
that
up.
rolls.
Well, my question is the IIconics haven't won, I don't think, since WrestleMania.
No, they beat a
The
team
no-name
of
team.
jobbers
Yeah.
1 week, and then they've lost
They
every
haven't
other
won
time.
anything since WrestleMania. Why you put them as champions is beyond me. If you're not going to do it, you're not going to push it, you're not...
I don't understand it. At this point, just take the belts off them because it means
How
nothing.
about just, like, eliminate the tag team matches because there's no tag teams out there? You're throwing together Becky and Nikki Cross.
Well, I mean, they worked together last week, so that's kind of where that
Well,
came
that's
from.
because they threw them together last week.
Well, yeah, they did. They threw
So,
Lacey with the IIconics
if this
last
is
week.
what they're going to do with this, get rid of your tag team championships. Get rid of the women's tag team division because this is dumb. I don't get it. Don't like it. Don't know what they're doing with it. I understand there's some injuries, but you have enough people on the roster that you could be doing something better than what you're doing with this. And right now, the women's tag team division is non-existent.
What happened to Asuka and Kairi Sane? Because I thought they were going to get a shot at the titles.
Who knows? They don't use the people properly. I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand where they're going with a lot of this. And this is why, right now, WWE better get things fixed. Because there's no storylines. They just throw people together. They have same matches over and over again, week in, week out. Same wrestlers getting the same spots. You got 10,000 wrestlers, and you're going to throw out, these people week in and week out. I have no issues with the IIconics. I have no issues with Becky. I have no issues with Nikki. But just throwing them out there just to throw them out there, why? You could be throwing storylines together with other people, and you're doing this. Why is Shane McMahon being like the face of your wrestling? Why? Explain it. You can't. Because there's 9,000 wrestlers they have, and they have Shane McMahon being the face of the wrestling.
When I saw him backstage, and he was...
I don't get it.
Throw my excellent punches, people. So, Becky and Nikki, they work pretty well together. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Nikki needs to tag Becky in more. She was in there for forever. Had a little issue with that. Then after we fixed that, they tagged back and forth. It was good. They worked together pretty well. Like I said, because they won, I'm wondering if they're going to give them a tag team title opportunity. I wouldn't be shocked if they did, because, I mean, it might do better for the championships to put it on them than the IIconics.
Well,
I
with the
mean,
way
you
they're
have
going
Becky.
right now, I don't see any
If
reason
you
why
put them on
wouldn't.
Becky, I mean, there would be no issue with it, and everybody would go crazy because that's what they want to see. So, I mean, I don't think it'd be a bad thing to put the belts on them.
Well,
Because you have Becky in the tag team. Not saying
okay,
that
and then
Nikki
what are you going
Cross
to do with
isn't.
it? What are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
Because you have no tag teams.
No, you don't. But
So what are you going to do with it? Nothing.
Yeah.
So there's no point in putting it on them.
Well, there's no point in keeping them on the IIconics either.
Well, it makes more sense keeping it on them than trying to put it on Becky Lynch if you're going to try and make Becky Lynch the man.
What?
If you're going to keep Becky Lynch as the man, you defend your title. Who's she going to defend the titles against as a tag team? Nobody.
I don't know.
Because there is nobody. So if you want to keep that persona, then I wouldn't put the titles on them.
I don't know. They just need to put the titles on somebody else who's in the IIconics because they're not doing very well anyways and they're not being used. And
Well, that's because there's nobody being used.
I know, but what I'm saying is they could have had the titles put on Asuka and Kairi Sane, which is what people wanted to see from the beginning. And
Here's the issue, okay?
Situation.
We'll talk about it at the end of the show because I have lots to say about people and things like that.
So, Becky and Nikki, they get the win. And then after the match is over, well, Becky has a new finishing move, apparently. It's called the Manhandle Slam. It's like a rock bottom-ish. And I know people on Twitter were like, don't try it again because it looks stupid. But it's a powerful finishing move, and I have no problem with it.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was like rock bottom, but not.
Yeah.
It wasn't as up high as The Rock's finishing move, so I had no problem with it. So it's cool. But Lacey Evans, of course, has to show her wonderful splendiferous face on Raw. So after the match is over, she comes out, she walks down the ramp and back up the ramp and just waves at Becky, and Becky's like, I got the championship, you don't, so go away. Can we be done with this?
Why?
Just because we saw this, like, leading up to Money in the Bank.
Okay, it's her gimmick.
I understand that, but can we just be done with it with Becky? Can she move on to somebody else for a little bit?
But who else is she going to walk down to?
I
The
don't
only
know.
person gets out there is Becky.
Well, because they don't have any freaking women's matches on anymore. They used to have a couple, and then they stopped that. But I just think they should use somebody else for the women's title shot opportunity right now, because Lacey's going to get a rematch come Stomping Grounds, and it's going to be Money in the Bank all over again.
Might be.
But there's also talk of Becky going against Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship, so Becky would be doing double duty once again.
Could be.
Which is cool. I think that with this wild card rule, they should bring somebody from SmackDown over to fight for the Raw Championship.
Yeah.
Just eliminate the wild card rule entirely
Who knows?
and just make it
I don't
the
know.
brands.
It's just the way it is right now. I think they should just get rid of the brands.
Sonya, Ember,
And
they would be
whoever's there is
viable
there.
competitors for Becky.
Well, I said they've got.
Now that you have the SmackDown title off of her,
they get
Raw's women's division is not very good.
They get 9,000 wrestlers that they don't use.
The issue is they didn't divide them up very well, putting who they put on SmackDown, and then you have like nobody left on Raw.
Well, they just have, like I said, they have
People you have left on Raw are absolute trash.
Okay, but they have
like Dana
9,000
Brooke.
wrestlers they don't use.
I understand that, but what I'm saying
So it doesn't matter who you have out
is the
there.
way you split up your division. SmackDown's women's division is loaded, and Raw's isn't. So then you take the SmackDown belt off of Becky, and she doesn't have any more competitors that are actually good.
Well, this is where she should carry it.
Now she's stuck with Alexa, who can't wrestle because she's injured. She's stuck with Naomi, who's pretty good in the ring, but she's not being used properly right now. Lacey Evans. She's stuck with Dana Brooke. Natalia. None of those people are getting the championship. You gotta be joking me.
Well, I don't know, but, they got 10,000 wrestlers they could use, and they don't.
I don't know. I just think they should have divided their women's
So then we have the
divisions
Uso block party again.
with the Revival this time.
Yes.
And Naomi and Tamina.
And R-Truth comes running in, and a couple of people try to pin him. He ends up escaping and getting out. And you see Drake Maverick with
with
his
Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, he has his R-Truth papers. Have you seen him? And of course he hasn't. And so then we go on to Ricochet versus Cesaro again. Rematch from last week. And we called it before it was done. We said
Well, because Cesaro won last week, Ricochet was
we
gonna
said
win this
Ricochet would win this week. Well, guess what?
week.
Ricochet won this week. So I would assume that next week they have to have the rubber match to see who wins this, series of
Unless they
Ricochet
save
versus
it
Cesaro.
for the 50-man battle royal thing at Super Showdown.
I have no idea, but again, why it's the same match, same story, same thing over. If they were gonna make a story out of this, it'd be cool, but they're not. And if they're gonna make a story out of it, you don't have them wrestle every week.
Yeah.
You build up, and they don't do that. So then we have talking about the U.S. title, and Ray will relinquish his title next week.
Because of his separated shoulder.
And Joe says he will be waiting.
Joe.
I'm guessing that this could be where you get Dominic involved. Just guessing.
I would say so. Would Dominic take the U.S. championship?
I don't know, because I've never seen him wrestle, so I don't know what he can do.
Well, nobody has seen him wrestle, which is why I said, would they do
He's
that?
probably wrestled somewhere, but I don't know.
I know he was training, but there hasn't been anything said about where he's...
So I don't know. We'll see.
Then
we have a fatal 4-way elimination match. Well, it's supposed to be an elimination match.
Okay, this match made me a little bit angry, okay? So, alright. Like I said, it was supposed to be, they were advertising it as an elimination fatal 4-way elimination match, okay? To determine the number one contender for Seth's Universal Championship at Super Showdown. It was Baron Corbin, who was added last minute because AJ Styles could not compete because he was injured. Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, who you knew neither of them were going to win because they have a match against each other at Super Showdown, so putting them in this match was absolutely pointless. And The Miz. And if I had my way, The Miz would have won. But guess what, folks? Good old boring Corbin won. I cannot even believe it.
It's because he hasn't had enough TV time, so they thought they would...
They thought they'd just give him something, because he was being used on, main event or something. I mean, come on.
I don't...
Okay, so the issue I have with this was not decided as an elimination match. Baron Corbin pinned The Miz, and then he won. And I was like, whoa. What are you even talking about right now? Because you were advertising this as a fatal 4-way elimination match, which means if one guy gets pinned, he's eliminated, and then we're down to 3. And then the next guy gets eliminated, and we're down to 2. And then you get your winner, okay? That's not how this match works.
Well, I think part of the issue was because Braun and Lashley kind of took themselves to the backstage or wherever they ended up going.
I don't care.
That's my guess.
I don't really care.
Well, you might not care, but I'm guessing that's why.
I don't care.
Because
It was advertised as an elimination match.
Okay,
Why was it not an elimination match?
Because they
Corbin
eliminated
should not
themselves
have
by
won.
not being in the ring
That's
for 35 minutes.
stupid.
So anyway, Corbin gets the win.
Honestly, I would rather see Brock at this point. I'd rather see Brock cash in on Seth at Super Showdown than have to watch Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship.
Well, I don't understand why Corbin gets so much TV time.
Now, are they going to put the Universal Championship on him?
Okay, but I don't know if they will or not. But the fact is you have 1,000 wrestlers and you don't use them. You use Baron Corbin every week. You use Bobby Lashley every week. And I don't understand why. It doesn't make a lot of sense as to, let's just throw them into a match and, we'll let them go.
Boring Lashley and boring Corbin.
So, then we have FireFly Funhouse.
This was a good segment.
It was a good segment. I thought Bray Wyatt...
As it is every week.
Bray Wyatt is doing a really good job. We'll have to see where they go from here and how they do it.
So,
if they're going to keep PG... I don't know how they're going to do the other character that, kind of Bray Wyatt kind of turns into.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see what happens.
It's creepy. Not kid-friendly.
No, definitely not kid-friendly.
So there was a segment in this where he was, talking to Abby the Witch. And then Abby the Witch was like, "Oh, Bray, I just want to be taken out of limbo. And blah, 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 blah. I just want to leave limbo." And he was like, "Did somebody say limbo?" And then he had 2 kids who were super short, and they were holding the limbo stick, And then he did his back bend thing. I was like, do your back bend thing. Please, 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 please. Do your back bend thing. I want to see it so bad. And then he did his back bend thing. And then he walked under the limbo. And then he walked under the limbo. And then he walked under the limbo and was like, now remember, my Fireflies, all you got to do is let me in.
Yeah.
Abby the Witch is going to come to life.
This is a cool character, cool story as to where they're going with it.
They better have Abby the Witch come to life. I swear to you.
Well,
That's
I
where
think
they're
it'd be
headed with
cool.
it. If she's talking about, I want out of limbo, I want to be out of limbo, take me out of the limbo.
Well, and this is where I think that,
I think that means that she's going to, like, come to life as an actual person.
Yeah. I think you could have, like, Nikki Cross be the...
You totally could, but maybe
character.
they'll pull one over on us and they'll bring somebody in who we have no idea who they are, and they'll decide that she's going to be Nikki Cross.
They might.
Or not Nikki Cross. Abby the Witch.
They might.
Abigail.
We'll see what happens.
Sister Abigail.
Then we have the electric chair with Sami Zayn, which I had no clue what they were talking about.
I didn't
Basically
either.
what it is there's an electric chair looking thing in the ring. An electric chair looking thing. An actual, like, looking electric chair in the ring. And the wrestler comes out, sits in the chair, and they have the audience ask questions of the wrestlers. Now, whether these were planned questions or not,
I think they were.
I don't. Well, and what makes me think they were is like when the kid asked the question, he wanted to do a follow-up question after Sami Zayn's response, and they kind of pulled the mic away from him, from the kid, so they couldn't ask the next question.
Oh.
So I think they're probably scripted. The one guy kind of forgot his question, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm guessing they were scripted questions, and they just said, "Hey, you're gonna ask this question." And so, so anyway, they're going through this, and Sami Zayn's like, "You could ask me any question you want to ask me."
The first one asked, what did the first one ask about?
I don't
even know when are you gonna retire? What's your retire? When are you retiring, Sammy? And he was like, rude much. And then the next one was a kid, and she was like, do you miss the ginger snaps, which was the ginger snaps from Mixed Match Challenge, which was him and Becky Lynch. And he was like, so you're asking me about Becky Lynch, right? And she's like, duh. And then he's like, or are you really asking me about Becky Lynch to talk about Seth Rollins? More mentioning of their relationship on television. I find it very funny. And then the next guy asked, I don't even remember what the next guy asked. And then the guy after that said something about the Universal Championship, and that's the one who kind of forgot his question. And then he was like, seriously? You're joking me. You can ask me any question at all. Anything. Anything whatsoever. You could have asked me about AEW.
And Corey Graves kind of cut him off, like, quick.
And talked more about the Universal Champion. He
so
was
I don't know.
Sammy, yeah, the Universal Championship. Why are you not holding it? Blah, 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 blah. And then Seth's music hits.
Well, and
that leads us into our main event match.
I think part of that is because there was
the crowd started chanting AEW.
And some of the they did that early on with Shane.
They did,
Shane
but it was very. I mean, you could hear it, but it was hard.
So
to hear.
I think part of the issue with this was, I don't know if it was scripted that he was supposed to say that.
I don't think it was.
Just based on the way.
The
reactions. And since,
but with what's been reported with Vince, where he was like mad because people mentioned AEW on Twitter while the event was happening on Saturday, it makes me think that it wasn't scripted, because I don't think Vince would let that slide.
I don't think so either, and that's why I think that this might not have been scripted. So we'll see what happens with Sami.
Another thing that was
Sami may not be on TV ever again.
Another thing that was kind of that I saw on Twitter, I think it was Glenn Rubenstein who put it up. He said something like, I wonder if this was like Triple H backstage was like, Sami, make mention of AEW or something like that, because he like smashed my throne on Saturday. And it's more jabs at one another. I could totally see it being that too. Either way, I think Sami wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah, that's my guess. Just based on the way he reacted with the way Corey Graves
He was
reacted.
like, "You could ask me anything, even about AEW."
So I think, it was kind of I don't know. It's kind of funny. And then you saw a tweet from, was it Matt Jackson?
Yeah, it was, and I think it was Nick.
Nick Jackson.
And it was a picture of him, and then behind him there was he photoshopped. It was like a picture of Matt behind him, and he photoshopped Sami Zayn's head over top of it, and they were both like.
It was funny.
It was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
So then we have the Sami Zayn versus Seth match. It's an okay match.
I didn't really pay attention to it much, just because I was like, I already know who's winning, and there's roughly 5 or 10 minutes of the show left, and this match still isn't over. We're cutting it to the wire, and Seth is going to retain his championship if it was for the championship.
So Seth ends up winning, obviously. Yeah. The only question was Brock going to come out and try and cash in on his
I was kind of waiting for that, and then I was like, meh. They still have one more week until right?
Yeah.
One more week of
So I would say, overall, this was not a great show. I'd probably give it a C or a C minus.
Yeah.
Just there's too many things.
SmackDown can redeem itself.
I don't expect it, but who knows? Right now, WWE storylines. There are no storylines. You just throw wrestlers out there. There's no build up of anything. FireFly Funhouse is probably one of the best things going for them because of the build up to where it's going to go.
And then the 24/7 championship is really entertaining.
The 24/7 championship is okay, as long as they keep it comedic. If they start making it serious,
I like that
then
segment.
it's over.
But
outside of that, I would say right now, this Brock thing, if they continue with this,
Brock thing is interesting. I will say, my only matches that I really liked in the evening. Well,
there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches in 3 hours.
Yeah, it's not good. The Ricochet and Cesaro match was good. The only thing I would have liked better is if we hadn't already seen it last week. The same really goes for the Becky and Nikki and the IIconics match. I thought that was pretty decent. And the only women's segment we had on the show. You were going to talk about something else with wrestlers and stuff?
Well, I was just going to say, they have a ton of wrestlers. They don't use them. I think you'll see a lot of wrestlers that are upset. I think you'll see a lot of wrestlers that are looking to, once their contracts are up, they will leave because they're not used right.
Yeah.
I think overall this hurts WWE. Yeah, WWE can throw all this money around and say, here, we'll just pay you whatever. The issue right now is WWE has now ran into
roadblock. AEW.
An organization that has the money backing them up to, not that AEW is going to do this, because I think they're going to do it the right way. They're going to look for, AEW is going to look for characters that can be characters and not robots.
Yeah.
And I think that AEW will really put a crimp in some of what's happened with WWE.
Yeah.
And WWE has to get it figured out. The one issue I have is you have a lot of fans out there that are either pro WWE or pro AEW and say that they will not watch the other organization. Well, if you're a wrestling fan, you'll watch wrestling.
That's what I am.
And
I watch both.
Now, would I pay to watch WWE right now? If we have the WWE Network, but I watch a lot of the old stuff.
I watch
that's
the
on there.
pay-per-views.
Then you have the pay-per-views that you would watch.
I watch the old stuff too, but
But if it wasn't for that, I don't know that I would go search out any WWE stuff right now.
Yeah.
Just because of the way things are.
Yeah.
So with that,
we'll
that
be back tomorrow.
wraps up our show.
We'll be back tomorrow for SmackDown. Hopefully SmackDown can redeem itself. We're supposed to have Kofi versus Kevin Owens tomorrow.
Yeah.
On SmackDown. So I saw.
We could have had more tonight, but there really wasn't a lot
No.
that took place and a lot that happened. So
Not too much.
again, there's only 5 matches on the whole night.
Yeah. Of
In a 3-hour
course,
show.
we have NXT on Wednesday. This is the last NXT before TakeOver 25.
Yes.
This week we have, obviously Monday we have Raw, Tuesday we have SmackDown, Wednesday we have NXT, and then on Friday we will do a prediction show. Friday?
Yeah.
Friday we have a prediction show for TakeOver, and then Saturday we have TakeOver. I know Wednesday we have something going on that night, so we might actually be we might be up for our stream on Wednesday. We might
miss our stream set for Wednesday.
We might not be up on Wednesday. It just depends. We'll let you know. I need to start saying NXT and NXT UK recap because that's what we do now.
Yeah,
NXT UK
might have to wait and do. Maybe we'll do the recap when we do the.
I was gonna say we could do
our prediction
recap and the prediction show on Friday.
Yeah.
So if we aren't up Wednesday for our NXT UK recap, we will recap all of that on Friday.
Yeah.
And then make our predictions for TakeOver then.
Yep. With that, we are
we'll be back tomorrow.
Reminder: we stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, except for possibly this Wednesday. After every pay-per-view, we will do a prediction show stream on Friday. So I think that's probably when we'll do our NXT recap.
Yeah. We have that this week, and the next week, looking forward, we have Super Showdown, and that's actually on a Friday.
Yes.
And so we won't have our prediction show on that Friday. We'll have that on Thursday.
Yes. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell so you know when we go live. With that, we will see you. Peace out.
Bye, guys.